local church is trying to bring their congregation together in a time of disagreement. The United Methodist Church governing body voting to uphold their traditional standards, declaring that homosexuality is, quote, incompatible with Christian teaching, thus prohibiting same-sex marriages and the ordination of homosexual persons. Our Jessica Rank visited one of our local churches here in Abilene to see how they plan to move forward after a divisive decision. First at 10.
From the outside looking in, it would seem like any other Sunday. But for Aldersgate United Methodist pastor Gary Bowles, things in his church were a little offbeat.
It feels a little awkward. It's kind of somber.
Preaching just days after a decision made that could create a divide in his congregation.
You know, it's kind of hard to be joyful in the midst of this because people are hurting everywhere.
Bowles' associate pastor chosen as a delegate for a special conference this past week, one where United Methodist churches from all over the world would come together to make a decision based on human sexuality and its role in the church.
Some language was included in our book of discipline that placed restrictions on who can be ordained and who pastors are allowed to marry. And so that has been in our book of discipline since 1972. And we've been arguing about it ever since.
The argument coming to its forefront this past week, presenting two main plans among others. The first, to stick with the original language and strengthen the enforcement of those rules. And the second, to allow each church to make their own decision based on its beliefs. The first plan passing 53 to 47%.
At the conference, I witnessed no celebration. You know, we're all grieving right now, not only for this moment in time, but for the way that things have come about.
So now the question becomes, where do they go from here? Both Amy and Gary using this Sunday to unite their congregation in a time of division. We
try to be cognizant and aware of those people who are on both sides of this issue, knowing that as the pastor, most myself and Amy, that we're leading everybody through this process.
I think we'll just remind people that they are safe here, that everyone is welcome here, and that there are faithful people on all sides of this issue seeking to be faithful to the gospel.
Reminding their members that what unites them is much greater than what divides them. In Abilene, Jessica Rank, KRBC, Abilene's local news.
Jessica, thank you. The plan that was passed at the conference will now move on to the Judicial Council, where they will consider what parts of that plan is constitutional and which are not. As of right now, 9 out of 14 points have been ruled unconstitutional. KRBC has reached out to McMurray University, which Methodist-related institution, about this issue. University President Dr. Harper issuing a statement reading in part, quote, while we understand and can appreciate these philosophical divides, the McMurray campus culture is distinctive in that we express our Christian principles through hospitality and gracious interactions with all who chose to study and compete at the university.